I'm Kirsty Mackay. I'm a documentary photographer, filmmaker and activist. The exhibition is titled The Magic Money Tree, and it gets its title from a quote from Theresa May in 2017. She was on BBC Question Time, and she said, "There isn't a magic money tree that we can shake to get money for everything we want." It's a document of the cost of living crisis, and it's also about poverty, and it's kind of asking the question, to what extent is poverty a political choice? So there's specific policies in the exhibition that I've highlighted. Things like free school meals for children across England, the two-child benefit cap, the welfare reforms. So, yeah. So the project it really went through a research phase in 2022, and then 2023 was really about going out, meeting people and gathering their experience, photographing them and handing out cameras and working with people to make their own photographs. So finding people to work with was probably the most difficult part of the exhibition. So I was going to communities that I didn't have any connections in. And I just had to meet people and get to know people and photograph them. And I gave out film cameras for them to take home. And we did lots of workshops around children's voices and how to find your voice. And we did workshops where the young people made placards and protest signs, and then they photographed each other. In the exhibition, I use photographs, I use people's drawings, I use the protest signs that we made in workshops, I use my photographs and other people's photographs, and then there's testimony that I've gathered from interviews as well. My photographs kind of tell the story of the cost of living crisis, and the participants' photographs they add other voices to it, and they add other energy to it, especially the children's photographs where they're cartwheeling and jumping. Their pictures just give it a different kind of colour and life. My pictures are more serious, and it's about incorporating many voices. I didn't feel I could go to communities and it be my impression of that community. It was really important that I went to places and I gathered many voices of many different experiences of those places. I think what's really important in the exhibition, and when you're photographing subjects like poverty, it's so important that people are not painted in one light. And it's so important that people are not portrayed as one-dimensional victims. I'm not going to portray someone as a victim. However, I have one viewpoint. And so it was really important to me that there were many viewpoints. And there were also stories that were more about just joy and having fun and childhood and vibrancy. And I couldn't get those kind of photographs myself. Viewers to the exhibition will get different things from it. I know from sharing my work before that there's a lot of people out there that aren't connected to anyone who's on benefits, don't know anyone who's homeless. They're not struggling themselves, and they don't know. It's easy not to know what's happening. So I think for some people viewing the exhibition, it might be a bit of an education. It might be shocking. And for many people, it might just make them feel that it's not just me. So if you're someone that's struggling and you go and see the exhibition, hopefully you will feel that it's not your personal feeling, and that this is something that's bigger and it's structural. What I've always tried to do in my work is to level up, to use that horrible phrase, but to even up the inherent power dynamic when you're taking photographs. And so instead of taking, I'm always trying to think about what I can give to the situation, even if that's just an interview. What can I give to that? Well, I can actually really listen to somebody and that alone is valuable. And in a photography exhibition, well, what can I give? Well, I can invite many other voices in, and it can be something that's much bigger than my viewpoint. This is the first project that I've worked on that is fully collaborative, and what I've found is when the best collaborations happen, there's a meeting of what I'm interested in and what that person is interested in. And so when I worked with children and young people, I kind of offered them to make protest signs and placards about anything that they cared about. I didn't want to steer them down the path of what I was interested in. And the best collaborations that I've had is when I meet someone and what I'm interested in overlaps naturally with what they're interested in. Yeah, and it's about where that takes you. And that's something that you can't really predict. You don't really know where it's going to take you. And that's why it's so interesting, I think, to work with other people. Because there's pictures in the exhibition that I would never have dreamt up. I would never have been able to think, oh, I want to take a picture of a boy holding up a sign that says, tax the rich, feed the poor. I couldn't have dreamt that up. That happened. And I didn't even take the picture. It was one of the young people that took the picture. The subject matter in the exhibition is difficult subject matter. It's pretty serious. It's very political. Some people might find it hard-hitting, but really what I want them to take is hope, because we're in an election year, and the flip side of the exhibition is how things could be.